Hey everyone, Tony Chips here from Chiappetta Shoes. This is Workshop Live. Today we got a C14 foot type with a real rigid bone structure, a lot of fat pad atrophy, and very, very bony feet. Now this is an ink print of his right foot. We have a lot of metatarsal issues going on. All those dark spots are heavy calluses. We're going to take it to the top down in a sec, but a C14 foot type has a small forefoot varus, nice rear foot alignment. Problem with this situation is that this customer is walking very short and rigid steps, okay? Now when you're doing that, without any weight, we have a small varus rear foot alignment, but when he's taking a step, the arch is rolling in a little bit. You could consider it a D15 foot type from fat pad atrophy and some pronation within the arch area, but I'm going to call it a C14 foot type. We're picking up a new set of orthotics, take you to the top down, and we have an interesting combination. Fred wanted to do a little bit more cushioning to this, so we have an EVA layer, 35 diameter, polyurethane pour-on, and another EVA layer. This is at, let's say, about 8 millimeters thick, little thicker than our average insert, but we're trying to really offload this met area. Today we're going to take you down to trimming these up to fit these lovely New Balance 840s. They don't make this model anymore, and we're going to add a metatarsal pad. So dealing with the C14 foot type, fat pad atrophy, some major pressure on the metatarsal heads. We're going to try, and this customer has had orthotics before, coming from an old doctor style orthotic, firm hard plastic, going to a semi-rigid base. We thought that going to a semi-rigid base would be, much more accommodating for the foot, feel a lot more natural. How you take the impression of a foot is really important when it comes to the starting shape of an orthotic. There's some modification in our process, but when we're doing a custom orthotic, we like to take a semi-weight bearing impression. And in that impression process, it's really important for the starting shape. The customer does not put any weight down on their foot. We press the foot down. There's videos of it, I'm sure, on YouTube. And the key with that is you're eliminating any user error. A lot of doctors' offices, they'll have the patient, step into the foam. Sometimes they'll have their office assistants press the foot into the foam. The impression process is probably the most important part. You could use, any kind of material, and that has a big impact on it as well. But the starting shape is super important. So I selected this metatarsal. It's kind of like an oblong metatarsal, and we're going to align this. The main issues we're dealing with is that second met head. On each of these we have some extra heavy calluses, and especially the fifth met on the left foot. So what we're looking to do is help offload the pressure on the forefoot here, on the ball of the foot and the toes, by implementing a little extra pressure behind that spot. Now where you locate that is really important. We have our first met here on the left foot, our fifth, and this fourth met actually looks oddly short. It's usually up an extra 1/4 of an inch. We have our third, which isn't getting any pressure, and then the second. We clearly have a hallux valgus situation with a bunion where the big toe is pointing to the outside here. So, with what the orthotic is trying to do is we're helping offload that pressure. There's lots of different metatarsal heads that we can select when adding this material. And the key is when you look at alignment of, where all these bones, the knuckles of the feet sit, we want to be approximately 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch behind. Now, how you select that depends on what thickness of material. For this metatarsal pad, we are selecting 1/8 inch cushion cork. And it's a cork and rubber combination. If you've watched any of my workshop lives, I use this material often. 1/8 inch, it's firmer but spongy. It does compress over its lifetime and lose its sponginess. So we like to replace these every, I'd say 12 months on average. And when we're dealing with a very bony situation like this, my dad's thinking was that we wanted to set this up with an extra layer of material. And give me 2 seconds, I'm gonna run around. What we're gonna do today on this 5th met, which you could probably consider a tailor's bunion, is we're gonna add a little, or we're gonna take away some of this material. We're gonna cut out 1/8 of an inch, or one layer, about 1/8 of an inch, 3 millimeters of material on the 5th met to start with. So typically I don't like to do too many modifications when we're making, when we're doing a pickup for a custom orthotic. This customer has had customs before, so they know what they're getting into. The old orthotic was, I'd say it's maybe like 5 to 7 years old. It wasn't too bad and poor of shape. But the setup of this, we have really nice starting point. We have 3 layers of cushion, EVA, polyurethane EVA. Base materials, we have a Solflex material, big fan of this, and then a multi-cork from Acor. Big fan of that. All right, so we gotta let the glue dry. We're gonna take our templates here, and this customer, again, we're in the New Balance 840, old version, version 4, I wanna say, 5. And I got a 10-4E size. So when trimming, for anybody getting into the process, these are my templates. These go back to the PW Minor days. These things are money. Hopefully I'm gonna make some more and try to sell them in the next couple of years, but all right. So you usually go down a full size when we're trimming. So we have a 10-4E. We are cutting down to a 9. Now being a 4E width, I'm gonna add an extra 1/8 of an inch on each side because this template is a 2E. Got it. Perfecto. Okay. All right. Now, because this orthotic is a little thicker than average, we want to make sure we take the walls down enough so it doesn't pinch or roll up against the side here. Gotta make sure we get that better. So once this glue dries in another minute, we're gonna get these met pads on there. And then we're gonna take it to the grinder and give it some loving, all right? So, all right. Give it a little heat. Add the met pads. I'd consider this like a standard met pad, standard oblique met pad. Easy to use, really dialing in, focusing on that middle section there. Should be good for the customer. Now we're picking up today, so the customer is waiting, and we're looking at process here. We always got to respect people's time. All right, perfect. So we're setting that up right down the middle section. Now, next thing we do is trim for length and width. We're going to take it over to the grinder. Okay. So today we got a C14 foot type, fat pad atrophy, rigid gait, a little extra pronation, not quite a D15 on the quadristep foot typing system, but close. So we're gonna take you over to the grinder, check it out. All right, now, when you're making an orthotic, to be a good wheelman, you always want nice clean lines. So nice smooth. If you're real jerky, it gets all bumpy, all right? So again, fifth met, the main problem that we're dealing with today. So one little extra modification, we're going to do a fifth met cutout. Now the patient's waiting, so I'm gonna put you on hold for a sec, run out on the sales floor, double check the width and the points, and then we should be in good shape there. Perfecto. All right. Be right back, guys. All right, we're back. So we have our spot picked out. We're gonna do a fifth met cutout, and we're gonna take it down to that base layer of EVA. So we got 3 millimeter, millimeter and a half, 3 millimeter. We're gonna scoop out this fifth met just a touch. Now we're gonna take it over to our handy Dremel. I love this puppy. And job like this is nice and easy. Okay, got a line to work with here. Yeah, we're gonna create our hole. Now when I do a cutout like this, sometimes, most of the time I'll fill it, but because we have these extra layers of material above it, we're gonna leave it exposed. So if you look at this, you have this cutout right here. About 3 millimeters of extra space just for that fifth met. And perfect. Cut and take away the bottom layer, remove that, and then excavate. And the left foot is the worst foot, but the right has an equal amount of pressure on these mets. So today, just to review real quick, we have a C14 foot type with a real rigid gait, fat pad atrophy, and a bit of extra pronation, not quite enough to call them a D15, but just weakness in the gait and the step process that's allowing that arch to fall a bit more. I believe he is looking into some physical therapy to help strengthen the arch, but there you have it right there. New custom orthotic, we have an oblong standard metatarsal pad and fifth met cutout. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe. Check us out, chiapettashoes.com.